I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Howard Grant, your company, right here on The Foundation. It is wonderful to have you. Always wonderful to be able to jam with you on this beautiful, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. A lot of persons are out there being able to get themselves prepared to make some things happen. We are still here with you. Some things have shifted, but we are still good. Continue to be able to fight the good fight. The good fight of faith, the good fight of conviction, that good fight of determination to be able to see our nation move in the direction that it should move. So I'm always grateful to be here with you. Grateful that you are jamming with me and that I can be able to talk with you on a regular basis, right? So guys, let me know if you can hear me and be able to do all those things. We did everything to be able to make sure that you guys are here with us and you can be able to jam. Today we're going to just be talking. I invited a couple people to come and sit with me, and so we're hoping that we see them by the weekend as we continue to be able to move forward and make some things happen. But we're in our space, man. We're here and we're good. I want to be able to thank all those persons that continue to be able to support us and what we're doing. Thank all those persons who've approached us and say, hey, listen, we want to be able to be a part of what you're doing. I want to thank all those persons who've actually committed themselves in doing this, my entire team, who's out there being able to work on us. Now, listen, now you ain't see the realigner yet, but you're definitely going to be able to see it before the month's end as we're working on those particular things to make sure that everything is taken care of. We know that January is normally the longest month of the year, right? It's about 3 months long, right? This person's got to be able to kind of reassess, reevaluate, get themselves back in position to ensure that they can take care of this, that, and the other thing. So we're doing everything that we can to ensure that we're in that good position to do what we have to do in these spaces. Guys, it's a beautiful day. Always grateful to be here with you as we jam. Always grateful to talk like this. And I'm here talking about these things, but I want to be able to break a few things down with you today and just talk about this and see where we are as we continue to be able to do these things. Now, listen, before we go any further, got to be able to shout out my good, decent people over at Crystal Select. I just want to be decent with you. Crystal Select, man, they're on East Street South. I don't know where you get your water from. Maybe your water costs a tremendous amount per gallon. Per 5 gallon, I pay about $3 just for to be able to get the changeover. You can't beat that. Can't beat that. He has these beautiful, beautiful bottles in this particular capacity. If you guys could be able to see that, he has these great bottles in this capacity. And what these bottles do is you can be able to do this. If you guys got conference meetings, if you got board meetings, you got this, you got that, you can always be able to get these water, and he'll put the different logo on it for you, right? So you can't beat that. If you want to be able to get your different logo and put all these things in there, you want to be able to give him a call. I keep trying to get this number, it's right here, Listen, don't fight me. I ain't the youngest no more. Amen? So you're going to have to go with me as I try to figure out what this number is, capture that, and then be able to give it to you once more. All right? So I'm going to look at this. I get a little older. All right? I got to look at this number. Make this a little bit bigger. All right, where we are. All right. 325-1416. 325-1416. crystalselect@gmail.com. crystalselect@gmail.com. We can be able to see that right there as we do that. Let me just take a little picture of this so we can be able to get that done. All right? 325-1416. 325-1416. Find Crystal Select on East Street South. Got to shout out my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They got everything laid out for you. I keep talking to you about them. AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers have done more than, the average Joe. Talk to me. They are a superb company, insurance and agents and brokers company, that can be able to assist you with a true sense of growth and development. And you find yourself in this kind of a position where you can be able to put all your stuff in a row as you move forward and make these things happen. So you want to be able to check them out as you move forward and get yourself taken care of for this season that you're in. New year, new rules, new year, new resolution. To be able to do those things. So you want to be able to go down there and get yourself taken care of at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They're located on Blue Hill Road South, just on the, on the eastern side of the Golden Gate Shopping Plaza, the orange building. Everything's in there. Affordable insurance. All these things are good and taken care of. You want to find out more about it and being able to move in those particular capacities. All right, so check them out and see exactly what's what. AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They got everything laid out for you guys. You want to be able to make sure you're in a good position as you continue to be able to make these things happen and get that going. Guys, I'm down here on Market Street. I was about to tell you Market Hill, but Market Street. We're right here on Market Street. If you want to come down here and check us out on Market Street, I'd love you to do that. Our place is in the midst of completion. If you guys are going to be able to come down with me, we got some chairs down here. You can come sit down here with us. We're still under construction and still developing on the inside, but we're here and we are jamming. We are here and we are doing our thing. Talk to me. It's not going to be the easiest thing, and it's quite okay with me. It's not going to be the easiest thing, but we are here and we're committed and we're focused on doing exactly what we said that we would do in this particular space. And we'd love you to be able to join us right here on number 47A Market Street, right across the street from C.R. Walker and the Government House. You're going to be able to see that. It's like a ranch style building, very small, like a cottage, right? But on the outside, you can see like a ranch style fence. It's a white picket fence. Beautiful space. It's a comfortable space. We want you to be able to come down here and join us. If you want to be able to do that, if you want to make some advertisements with us, we're going to do that. This is the place that's going to be open for business. So if you want to come down here, we're going to have a receptionist here before the end of the month. She's currently in the States. We got some persons that's going to be working with us. So they can come down here. You can be able to get your advertisements for the newspaper, advertisements for the radio. If you want to be able to do something in terms of recording, we have everything. As soon as we get everything done, guys, we're going to give you a good, thorough walkthrough so you can be able to see exactly what we want you to be a part of what we're doing. Talk to me. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. And so we want you guys to be able to come down here and join us as we continue to be able to make these things happen. All right? Today is a beautiful day. Grateful to be here with you. Man, listen to me. Andres Fish Fry raised as no fire truck came. This is one of the issues Please forgive me. This is one of the issues that we've been having in this country. Every time we are confronted with a tribulation, every time we're confronted with a small flame that actually grows into an inferno, our issue is we don't have anybody, any entity to be able to assist us to ensure that we have the fire trucks that can be able to mitigate against these problems, that can be able to eradicate these problems, that can be able to extinguish these things. We don't have those things. We don't. And that is poor. Can I say that to you? That is a horrible thing. That's horrible. We got to find ourselves in a better position. It is absolutely atrocious if we continue to find ourselves in this position where all we do is just sit with a hope and expectation that the environment change. We got to keep holding our breath that nothing goes wrong. We got to keep holding our breath that everything is going to be okay. And this is life. And things change on a regular basis. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. We've seen this in Abaco. We've seen this in Grand Bahama. We definitely saw this most recently here in Nassau with Goldie's and Eddie's and the other persons on that strip that's been burned down, and not as a result of lack of fire trucks being able to get to them, but we know that this has been a familiar issue in these areas. We haven't dealt with it, man. We haven't dealt with it. We haven't been transparent. We haven't been forthcoming. We haven't sat in the proper position to ensure that these things are taken care of. We've done none of these things. We've done absolutely none of these things. And this is where we are in this country right now. And so we got to be able to find ourselves in a better position. I want to be able to encourage members of parliament who lack vision, who come into these constituencies with this sort of an idea that to be able to perpetuate the status quo, that there needs to be a vision that's articulated, and it doesn't have to start with this kind of a lofty idea, this lofty, we will, do this great thing for all these people. Incrementally, we're going to get to that. But incrementally, there needs to be the introduction of concepts and ideas that are tangible, that people can be able to sink their teeth into, that grab hold to, and say, this is something that I can support. I don't think we've seen that. I don't think we've seen a lot of that. I think we've seen most recently Mr. Lightbourne take on this kind of a position most recently, and we've seen coming out of Andros, North Andros, to talk about the fish fry in those instances, and being able to say that, okay, well, this is what's happening, this is where we are from these things, and we're going to make some things happen with it. Hey, listen, we accept that. We appreciate what he's saying, but these are heartbroken people. See, no one's having a conversation as to whether or not you even have insurance. Hello? We ain't even having a conversation as to whether or not you even have insurance in these places. Listen, man, some persons would have been in a good position, and the government is scrambling to ensure that they could be able to support those persons. When you look at what's happening down at Fish Fry here at Arawak Key in Nassau, the government is doing everything that they can. The member of parliament in that particular constituency being able to jump in and say that we're going to be able to help, that doesn't necessarily give us any depth and detail of how that help is going to look, but he's indicating, okay, we're going to help and do everything that we can do for these particular constituents, and everybody is sort of breathing a sigh of relief that Sebastian is here to be able to save the day. But the truth is that there are other issues, other constituencies, other jurisdictions, and we need to be able to have that kind of simultaneous assistance, that persons don't have to go to bed and say, oh God, did I leave the fire thing on? Did I leave that on? Oh God, oh Jesus, you can't sleep at night trying to make a determination of what's happening in your space. The government needs to be able to come together. Someone needs to come together. I know that these things are big business. I know that we manipulate and mimic a concept out of the United States of America, out of the free world rather, that actually speaks to capitalism. I know this, man. I know this. I know this, and I'm quite clear, and I have a very clear understanding of how our persons approach these things. I'm not naive. I know business is business. There's no feelings in this. Listen to me. Business is business, and people are in this for money. I know. But we got to get to a point where there is vision instituted to ensure the safeguarding of all these people who are living at or below the poverty line in this country. And maybe you don't call it the poverty line. Maybe you call it the brink of survival. Who knows? I don't know what you call it. As you wrestle with survival of how you're going to eat. As you feel a murmuring in your stomach. Or you feel a lump in your breast. Or you feel some sort of an indifference. And you make up in your mind, because of your financial situation, I will not put my family through tribulation. And if I have these things, I'm not going to allow them to run me up and down to doctors. I will die quietly. These are decisions that people are making in this country. They decide to be able to do without. This is where we are, at the brink of survival, wrestling, knowing that just by changing your diet, you can possibly be able to save your chances for survival increase by at least 15 to 20%. And you still can't afford to change what you eat. You can't afford to eat anything outside of noodles. Come on, I don't just want to be decent with you. I ain't trying to get in your business. But I'm simply saying, you can't afford to eat anything outside of the norm, what existed in there prior. You can't. You can't afford to eat it. You can't afford to eat it. You can't afford to find yourself in a better position. You've eaten what you've eaten, not because you find it to be a delicacy, but this is where you are. The government of the Bahamas have done, major things with yesterday we've been able to see this in the newspaper, VAT to be axed on all groceries, and these are the non-prepared groceries. So once it's not cooked food, or once it's in your Wendy's and your Burger King, I suppose, or the prepared foods that are in these particular spaces. Once it's not that, then, they're going to find a way in space to be able to take care of you. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. The difficulty that we have in this country is not just being able to identify these things. We got to find a better way to be able to ensure our people. That's going to be another major issue that the government needs to be able to tackle as they move towards the next general election. Okay? We're watching these particular spaces burn down to the ground to ash and cinder. And these people are turning to the government of the Bahamas. They are turning to the government of the Bahamas to assist them. Think about it. Whether you're in Andros, whether you're in Bimini, whether you're in Nassau, whether you're in Grand Bahama, whether you're in Abaco, wherever you are in the family of islands. Your building burned down to the ground. This is a local eatery, a local space that persons come to on a consistent basis. You find yourself in this position, and now you're placed down to the ground. You was barely surviving in the first place. Every couple dollars you get, you had to go run back and pay Mr. Martin them. I don't know what the name in your division. I don't know what the name in your jurisdiction and your community and your constituency. But in 8 Mile Rock, it was Mr. Martin. And you go and you give Mr. Martin sell everything in his little convenience store in Martintown. He had kerosene, he had candle, he had meat, he had cornflakes, he had pencil, he had everything you needed for survival. But you didn't have money. So Grammy would tell you to go down to Mr. Martin. Tell him such and such a person sent you. Tell him who you are. Let him know who your grandmother is. And tell him, I need this, this, this. And she give you a little list and you go down to Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin, at that particular time, what he does. Guys, you can hear me say hello? Let's try this. I can try something. You tell me if I get a little higher. Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Is it any better? Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check. Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Is it any better? I'm hoping that's better. Somebody be able to hit me up and let me know right in the chat if you can hear me. Now let's talk about this now. And my constituency is called Mr. Martin. So you go to Mr. Martin assists you. Let me know if you can hear better from this microphone. I can change the mics. Go ahead, mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Let's give me a text. Hit me up, 827-0111. Well, let's talk about this and let's be clear about this, all right? We go to him in our constituency, in our community, in our divisions, in our capacity, and we ask for assistance. And as we ask him for assistance, he lends us. He extends that assistance to us. And so when we go to those particular things now, you got credit with Mr. Martin. That's what we get. That's how people survive out here. Okay? The Prime Minister, I just listened to him the other day. He said he remember what it's like to be able to hustle and move from bill to bill and needing to find how you can pay this and what you can do. You remember. So he's not foreign to this. He wasn't born with a golden spoon in his mouth or a silver spoon, however, whatever variation or material you want to be able to give it. The fact is that if he is familiar with these things have not stopped because he himself as an individual elevated. And I think that is one of the things that we need to drive home. So many persons who have the spirit of an entrepreneur don't have contingency. I want to talk like this. I will never forget I opened my restaurant. I will never forget I opened my restaurant. Palate pleasers. Palate pleasers. It was a double entendre. Right? Palate is your mouth. But my whole place was built from pallets. Talk to me. It was designed strategically like that. I built the whole place in pallets. All my chairs was built in pallets. And I was supposed to go in business with the owner of the space. He said, yeah, Howard, let's go together. We can go at 50-50. I said, well, okay, you spend the money on developing the place. I will spend this money what I got. I just got a couple good $1,000 as well from the hotel. Just left the hotel. Right? I just left the hotel. And as I left the hotel in this particular space, right? Give me this check. I decided I can get into business. I take the check, and I'm supposed to get into the development of the place, so I'm supposed to take this money what I had to buy food, to buy alcoholic beverages, to be able to ensure that the staff was taken care of, to put a little contingency aside, to do all these things. This was what my money was for. I waiting on the owner of the place. He said, yeah, how are they coming? He ain't never reached. He gave me but $600 to do something. Now, this is his place. By law, I can't scoop up nothing and leave it. You understand what I'm saying? By law, I can't scoop nothing up out here and leave it. This is his place. So I'm paying rent. However, are we supposed to splice down the middle all the profit 50-50? Watch me. This is what's supposed to be done. I go on into the place. The man ain't never bring up. Listen to me. I had to pay for the electrical. He paid a couple dollars for the electrical. He paid a couple dollars for some things. I had to pay for all the paint. I had to pay for the electrical. I had to pay for the tiles to be done. I had to pay for all the walls to be done. I had to pay for people to paint these things. I had to pay for the aesthetics. And I wasn't supposed to pay for the aesthetics. The aesthetics, now my money down to almost nothing. You ain't hear me. My money down to almost nothing. The dream's still rich in my spirit. My money down to almost nothing. Jesus, I can't. What the hell is going on? I said, all right, we can figure this out. As we move forward and try to be able to make some things happen, I found myself in this position where I connected with another person locally who became a partner of mine. He dropped a couple $1,000 well into the project. We was able to get some food. Now, everything finished now. On the inside. Then we was able to get some food. We was able to get some this. We were able to get some that, right? All these things. I had to put some money aside. I went down to Tyrell Young. Tyrell Young and his wife had this is how I know Tyrell them. Tyrell Young and his wife had a business where they used to be bringing in used stuff, right? Scratch and dent stuff. And I would go to Tyrell, and I got maybe 4 or 5 refrigerators, deep freeze, whatever I got from him, right? He didn't have no deep fryer. I needed another deep fryer because the demand was so high, I didn't have enough money to buy a deep fryer. I just didn't have it. So I had one deep fryer, and the wait was too long, so I needed to buy another one. So I get in everything, and I feel so proud. I feel so proud, and I feel like some sabotage was in there because when you're working with some people, they got bad mind. I can be honest with you. Some people got bad mind. Jesus could tell you that. Some people have bad mind. They're demonic, and they hate to see you move forward. Now, you don't know that because they show you a particular thing on the surface, and you move in this sort of a good faith and goodwill that you believe that these things are going to be okay. Okay? No problem. I ain't fighting. We get ourselves in this position. When we get ourselves in this position now, I develop in the project. I doing all these things. I working hard. One Sunday, now this is after a big fight. I can't remember who was fighting, but this is after a big fight. This is in 2014, 15, something like that, 14, 15. 14, 15, something like that. It was a big boxing fight. Now, I'm supposed to have all my things like that. Listen, I was watching this on my Fire Stick all day. The fight's going to be as soon as the fight come. If I didn't pay for that, they cut it off. I thought I was straight. Bam. The place had at least but 60 people in it. When that thing cut off, my heart sank. I said, oh, God. Everybody get up and walk outside. Oh, well, we got to watch this fight, man. And get up and go on to another bar, wherever they gone. I said, oh, Jesus, God, what's going to happen, Lord? What happened? Lord, what happened? Lord, what happened? That weekend, we closed Friday. I didn't go in Saturday, didn't go in Sunday. Left everything in good position. I had so much damn conch and fish and this and that and all these things because I was preparing myself for that fight weekend. When I get back on Monday morning, everything was spoiled. All my things spoiled. Flies coming out of the fridge. I said, what the hell is this? I know I close up this place. I know I close up this place. I know it. And as life would have it, as fate would have it, the seal was not the best seal on the refrigerator. That's how I surmise it, instead of looking at someone to say they sabotage. The seal wasn't the best seal on the refrigerator. And as a result of that, all my conch, all my burger, all my chicken, everything that I had, spoiled. Everything that I had was spoiled. I cried just a little bit, just a little. I had to cry just a little. My heart was broken. And the issue I cried for was not what was existing before me, but what existed before me was a representation that I could not go any further. I made my money by selling these products, and whatever I got from these products, I could be able to now pay my staff and then move forward. That's how I made my money. I sold these things. I got the thing from that. When I got it, I moved. Like that's just how I made my money. You hear me? And because I no longer had something to bargain socially for money, I didn't have a contingency. My business partner didn't have any more money, and who was supposed to be my initial partner, who was the owner of the building, no longer was a partner. He was excited for the development of this building that was complete, but looked at this as rent. And say, if this is rent and you haven't paid me, this is what is required from you. So I was out. I was out. And then I had to bargain with my television and my stereo and this and that and all these things like that for my bill to be knocked down to nothing. I'm telling you that this is a real thing. That the concept and idea of being able to give encouragement to entrepreneurs around the country, as these people live in mom and pop posture, there's no contingency, there's no assistance, there's no business development, there's no nothing, there's no insurance, there is only a wing and a prayer. That you hope to Jesus that this works. That's what you do. You hope to God that this thing works. And so we sat in this particular position, and the building gone down to naught. Well, the business went down to naught. And I didn't have the enthusiasm to come up with another $5,000 to pay somebody first-class security, to develop this space, to do all these things, because I guess I would have not been motivated in that particular stead. I just want to be honest with you and say this. And as I look at these things and I identify these things, it's a familiar story. It's a familiar story for me. It's a familiar story for me. When I had a story about what's happening with persons and their place burned down, and, they're becoming overwhelmed emotionally, not because the place burned down. The place burned down, oh Lord, I'm so sorry to hear that. You got insurance, you got this, you got that, you can be able to tap into these things, we can be back on our feet in no time. Talk to me. But you was praying to Jesus that everything would go good so you could be able to send your baby through the last year of school. So you could be able to pay these things off, so you could pay that medical bill off, so you could do this, so you can do that, so you could pay the last something on your mortgage, and hopefully you could be able to remortgage your house, and you do that, and you could put something. I don't know what your thoughts are. Whatever your thoughts are, when you're living in this particular capacity and you have to do business like this, it is a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing. I can't even get no amen. It's a difficult thing. I know where these injurians coming from as it relates to what's happening. I know where they're talking about. I know what they're saying. It's not easy. And I don't know whether or not this is going to be a governmental thing. I don't know whether or not, from a constituency standpoint, each member of parliament needs to be able to identify that they have to, for their tenure, come up with 3 things that can be able to lend sustainability to the constituency. And one of those things need to be a fire truck. Depending on the size of the constituency, 2 to 3 fire trucks. There should also be an opportunity for you to be able to get a hose. One of those pumps that you could be able to throw in the water. If you're close to the thing, throw in the water, pump seawater, and push on the fire. There needs to be something. There also needs to be, from a governmental standpoint, training. Training for all firefighters. There needs to be a quarterly training for all firefighters. I think we take for granted that these things haven't happened for such a long time. So when it does happen, it's absolutely devastating. And the most you could do is tell your neighbors, jump up on your roof and spray the top of the roof so the cinders don't burn through your house. The most you could do is take on this kind of a capacity that says, okay, watch yourself, watch yourself. Let's make sure that this building don't burn down. You see the building on East Bay Street? I think it's Victoria. I can't remember what the building's called. All you could do, you watch the whole building burn to the ground. And we could come on with a celebration that no lives were lost, but everything else was lost. Everything else was consumed in that raging inferno, that flame that consumed everything. Everything was gone. And we keep seeing this. There needs to be a division who's focused on the development of these things. Across the country, there needs to be an annual firefighter preparedness program, whether that be a workshop for all community leaders, including those persons who are in local government. If the member of parliament can't make it here in the city of Nassau, which now contains 25 seats, there needs to be at least 3 representatives on that board with interest, with knowledge that can be able to move into this and prepare their constituency. Each member of parliament should be able to forge a board in their constituency, someone for small business, someone for financial literacy and development, someone for health and wellness, there should be a board that is established by every member of parliament to show you that there is productivity beyond the member of parliament. And how do we do this, Howard? How do we fund these people? That's the issue that you have in this country. There needs to be a relentless funding for everything. Everything. There is a way to get these people paid. There's ways to get people paid, especially if they have expertise in your constituency. You just have to be more creative in finding that. Every constituency that we go to now, we're finding that persons are ill-prepared to produce. I can't get no amen, Jesus. You're watching things burn down to the ground. We're having conversations of how to be able to take care of disabled persons on the spectrum. Suppose somebody start to have they start convulsing before you as you be able to take care of them or to detain them for one reason or another. You asking these questions, which is a wild thing for me. Bananas. That we don't have operational procedures, standard operating procedures. We don't have standard operating procedures of how to be able to do these things. That is bananas to me. You having social conversations about, suppose the people start having the fits. What you think the police officer should do? What the hell kind of question this is? I have a cousin. He used to convulse when we were young. He used to have horrible fits. Horrible. I will never forget them fits he used to have. And we knew when he was about to convulse. He used to have horrible fits. He would convulse, right, and start to foam from the mouth. And we saw it so much that we didn't even, first time you see it, if you're a visitor to our home and he starts to convulse, then you say, oh, Jesus, oh my God, oh, you freak right out. And all of us are like, just keep calm, keep his tongue out of his mouth. Don't let him bite his tongue. Make sure you put something in his mouth. Make sure you hold him. Make sure you don't hit his head. All these things, because all we could do is wait for this thing to breeze over. That's it. That was our standard operating procedures. preventative measures to ensure that he didn't hurt himself when he came out of this, because he would eventually come out of this, to be able to ensure that he turned his head to the side, that he could breathe, that you could be able to ensure that his air pipes are clear, that sometimes you put a wallet in his mouth, sometimes you put something that he doesn't, whatever, because he bites and he used to grind his teeth a lot, like that. He used to grind his teeth a lot. Whatever we did, we had to do to ensure that we kept him safe. That's it. We had standard operating procedures in our home of how to be able to take care of our cousin in the event that he had these particular issues. The Royal Bahamas Police Force, Defense Force, and all these particular arms needs to understand how to be able to serve the wider community. Not those persons that you perceive guilty until proven innocent. Other people who just get a slap right off the top if they, no, we're not talking about those persons that you deem are in a content, comfortable position that you can be able to treat them with a little bit of force to get them to subdue them. We're not talking about them. We're talking about people who have pre-existing conditions that you don't want to be blamed for if something goes terribly wrong. We're talking about these things. One of the major issues that we have in this country is lack of training. Annually, every member of parliament, every member of parliament should be able to have a board in their constituency, a board that is elected by the people of that constituency for the division based upon the presentation of what they have and the expertise in that area. If you need someone that is a treasurer, you need a trusted treasurer who could be able to sit in that particular capacity and we could show this, boom, 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 boom. He or she needs to present those credentials to the constituency. Then we could be able to have a small constituency-led meeting to talk about 5 persons that we've narrowed it down to, or 3 people that we've narrowed it down to. And as a result of these particular 3 people, we're going to be able to have a small election inside this particular space this evening. Guys, pick up your telephone. We want you to be able to vote for Herbert Gray, Charlie Gibson, and George Barnett, whoever the hell, and then find these particular things, right? You do that. You present them, allow them to present themselves, and allow them to talk about this, allow them to talk about their community development, and then you choose them and you put them on the board for 3 years. Same length of time for the man. See, what exhausts me is that you need the cabinet of the Bahamas to think about this for you. Y'all are so flippin' lousy, it sickens me. It sickens me, man. You need the prime minister who got to figure out how he can make sure that his government is in a good position, both locally, both nationally, internationally, and other spaces. He's dealing with geopolitics. He's dealing with the perception in the eyes of the country. He's dealing with sales and marketing from a grand macro perspective. He's dealing with all these things. His cabinet is dealing with these particular things, both locally and internationally. All these things are happening. You're a member of parliament. You say, man, look at my boss, man, I need to make a couple more dollars, man. You're still lousy. You expect somebody to pay for you, to vote for you again. Why the hell do we need you? Why the hell do we need you? You can't even think about this. How is it that you could watch Arago Fish Fry burn down? You watch Bimini Fish Fry burn down. You watch Exuma Fish Fry burn down. You watch the marketplace in Nassau burn down. You watch Nassau Fish Fry burn down across the country. And no one can say how we can be able to ensure that we in this constituency, my constituency, we get 2 fire engines. How is it that everything that you're seeing around the country, nothing says to you, let's find somebody who's dig them deep a hole and be able to put a hydrogen right here? Let's see if we could get the person responsible in the constituency to identify these particular things. Let's see if we could be able to identify through local government, through central government, through these particular entities, what was required in the event that we see these to put 2 hydrants right here. Hydrants right here. we voting for y'all. I sick of y'all. I sick of y'all. Y'all make me sick. Because you're more concerned about watching people money, who getting what appointment they getting, instead of your commitment to your constituency. I swear, honest to God, if you give me a member of parliament position, you're going to have to, like the president of the NRA say, you're going to have to take this gun out of my cold dead hand. You're going to have to pry this position from me in death, because I am the best. I promise you I's the best. From here to Jesus. And if I ain't the best, I's the closest. Because I just take criticism well. I don't care what cussing you do and what all these things. I can swim past your cussing and brush past that. I can take it. Because I don't have to live with you. I tell my wife, I don't row nobody like that who I don't have to see regular. Yeah, I could brush you off and forget about you. And if I got to see you regular, and if I anticipate somewhere in my subconscious that this is something that I'm going to always be confronted with, then I'm going to be able to get a couple octaves higher with you. But if I could brush you off and not be concerned about you, then I will. I promise you. I'm good with constructive criticism. I take the criticism, I sweep what I don't need from it, I identify those things, I do introspection, I try to find out how I can do this best, and I step up and step forward. That's what I do. I do that. You let people talk. I don't know how I could hear how members of parliament, whether they're gay, who is thief, who get pregnant, who is doing what, who is cheating on their wife. This is the information I'm hearing about y'all. This is the information this is what's spilling out of the mouths of the people that watch you and the people that you serve. They say who rape who, how much people you get for abortion, how much things you would have done. This is what's being said about you. You all are the lousiest flipping Negroes life have to offer. If a man got to change your name to lousy, Jesus God Almighty, you're lousy. How could it? We have bestowed the prestige upon you of honorable. You're getting this position of the honorable member of parliament. And as soon as you get in this position, 6 months later, they say, you're the biggest juicer life have to offer. You're juicing all the gals. I hear you get 3 gals pregnant. My God, you just keep a drawer full of plan B. And the next one fill it. How you let these people change your name, man? People see you now and they no longer call you minister this. Or, that one is a bull skater. He's a damn liar. Boy, he could flip and lie, eh? Oh my God, you could get nothing done with him. All he's do is just talk a bunch of garbage. Him, trust me, child, he trying to be able to juice me. He didn't ask me for dinner a couple of times. How you come in parliament and the people change your name? You don't even know what you're responding to socially. And these same people you're asking to vote for you again. You ain't come up with a corporation. You ain't come up with an opportunity for people to be empowered. You haven't taken the kind of stain of the political wherewithal in your constituency off. You can do that. That ain't hard. That ain't hard. Just a little bit of elbow grease to take this off. And you've done nothing to take that off. Nothing. You haven't empowered people. You haven't afforded them opportunity. You haven't pulled them in. You haven't identified their talent. You haven't created a pool in your constituency. You haven't talked about these things. You haven't identified. You haven't done nothing. You haven't done your own flipping homework. You haven't identified the amount of numbers that you fell behind with. The victory that you had. What is the margin of victory that you had? How close was your opponent? Who are those particular persons? How did the third force and these fringe organizations get this much votes in your constituency? Which polling division did they get the most majority in votes with? Did you go back to those polling divisions to ask them some of the issues? What the hell else do you have to do? What the hell else you have to do? What else you have to do? I would be the best member of parliament. Everyone, including the prime minister, would be afraid of me. Because you all know I come in for your job. I just do my work. Because one day, our eyes can be crossed, our hands can be over our chest, or however they put it. We can look at the ceiling in this place, the tongue and groove in here, and the stain on the top of this church building. We're going to be looking at that, and we're going to be gone. And the only thing will be last is what we do for Christ and the name that we left on this earth. That's the legacy that you leave for your children also. Who your father was, who your mother was. And you watch all these places burn down, and no one come up with a concept, how can we fix this? How can we avoid this in our constituency? This ain't hard work. This is not hard work. You are lousy if you believe this is hard work. This is, listen to me, there's only two things people could say. Yes or no, that's it. They only can say yes or no. Anything in the middle of that don't make no sense, man. You can throw it away. It's only yes or no. You professionally prepare yourself. You identify these particular entities. You go off to the Miami Fire Department. You go off New Hampshire Fire Department. You go anywhere on the East Coast, you identify these things. Go off the Atlanta Fire Department. You go off to the Texas Fire Department. Texas got money. You go after these things. You go after the Chinese Fire Department. You go after wherever the hell you got to go, you write a letter. And you said, my name is such and such I am a member of parliament for this particular constituency in the Bahamas, and this is what we've been having lately. Now, our money is tight, but we like to forge a relationship with you, not just to be able to ensure that we can get your used fire trucks with minimal damage that we will be more than happy to accommodate, but we'd also like to be able to find out when you do your training and whether or not we can send 10 to 15 men in preparation for the training that you do. We think that what you do is absolutely awesome, and we want an opportunity to be able to cross-train with you. Is that not an incentive for the fire trainers, the firefighters? Is that not an incentive? Is that not duality and reciprocity, that the people could come to the Bahamas for the first time, that you could go over there and be able to experience these things? Come on, stop being lousy, man. There's only yes or no. I guarantee you, you ask 10 persons, somebody got to say yes. Somebody got to say yes. And if they don't say yes, you get another 10 persons. This ain't hard. It ain't rocket science. It ain't SpaceX 9. This is just regular business. But you can't see instant gratification for you as a member of parliament. Well, why are you here in this position? And that is what Bishop Delton Fernando is saying. If you don't envision something greater for us in this country, why are you in this position? If all you're here for is instant gratification, for you to be able to acquire something for yourself, for your family, for you to be able to teach for you, why are you here? Go off like Bernie Madoff and find private entities to thief billions of people from. Don't come to the government of the Bahamas. We ain't got it to be thieving like that. If you got the skill set to thief a bunch of money, go into the private hedge funds and all these particular things. Yeah, go into the offshore banks and thief people money there. Don't come here. If thieving is your forte, baby, go someplace else and do that. We need workers here. You let all the damn place burn down. You can wait till your place to sit down there and burn down too. You know you ain't got no fire truck. You ain't do a damn thing about it. Oh, sicken me, man. Sicken me. The only thing you're supposed to be concerned about and concerned with is your constituency. Everybody change your name. How much woman you then juice up and down. How much guys you get pregnant. Oh, man. You see him there? Trust me, son. I know he was itching the other day because he messed with this one. And now. You make me sick. I don't care what you do on your own time. I don't care what you do on your own time. Don't let nobody call you something outside of the productivity of the space that you were called to work in. I don't care what you do in your own time, baby. I don't care what people say about you. I don't care, and that don't make a difference to me. You can do better than this. You can do better than this. I believe you can do better than this. And that's all I want to say. The government of the Bahamas needs to come up with creative ways that persons can be able to tap into as conglomerates, as small entities, into an insurance, something for them. And you have fish fry, when you have other gatherings, there needs to be a small insurance that persons can be able to pay a nominal fee, a minimal fee, they can be able to get taken care of. It needs to be something. It's cheaper for the government to ensure that they could pay, let's say, hypothetically, for the spaces that exist around these places. The government pays a minimum structural repair fee, right? So it doesn't have anything to do with utilities. It doesn't have anything to do with appliances, with furniture, with anything that they put in there, but it's just structural integrity. And so the government pays a minimum fee for that. Let's say, hypothetically, for all these places where the government is, they spend about $60,000 a month. Let's call it $60,000 a month. Okay? $60,000 a month. That's under $1 million a year. 610 is 60, 600,000, 66 is 12, 720,000. $720,000 the government pays to an entity, insurance entity, to insure all the major hubs for. So you go down to Bimini, you identify the fish fry. You go down to 8 Maroc, you identify the fish fry. You go down to Smith's Point, you identify the fish fry. You go down to West End, you identify the fish fry. So with the identification of the fish fry, you identify all the stalls. The stalls have to be registered. These people have to be compliant. They have to be able to pay their rent on a monthly basis. They have to do this. And with the compliance of this, and you can't transfer your lease over, you can't sell it to no one, the government pays for your insurance in this particular space. Structural insurance and integrity for these things once you keep up with the regular payments on a month-to-month basis. How much the payment is, you increase the payments by 2 payments. So if it's $100 now, you pay $300 a month. And if you can cry about, oh, Jesus, I ain't got $300 a month, go, you better figure out what it made that, or this ain't for you, baby. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. And you create an authority responsible for that. The authority specifically is dealing with that. And we don't care who is your friend, family, or lover. When we come to your place, if you ain't paid up, based upon all our calculations, you need to leave by law. You need to leave, baby. We ain't got no time for that. Next person come in, pay first, last, security, $900. The government allow you an opportunity to be able to do these things. They expect you to be operational. We expect our $300 on a regular basis. Boom, 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 straight across the board. So where the government paying $60,000, the government at least could be able to get back $25,000 of that comfortably from all of the utilities and the spaces in the Bahamas. And so the $300 could be able to vary based upon the constituency, based upon the population, based upon the demand in these particular spaces. $300 here in Nassau, $300 in certain strategic locations in Freeport that has a good population and people coming to it. Money could be able to dwindle by half depending on the constituencies. Let's say we go to Andres, the populations are smaller, so forth and so on. We make a determination, but the government should be able to go home comfortably with $25,000 a month. And so, essentially, they're only being able to pump in $40,000, $35,000 on a month-to-month basis for these insurance. Somebody can take that up. Somebody can take that up. Somebody can take that up. $720,000. You think we let that slip and lay down? We can make that and pray to Jesus that nothing burned down. We can make that. Put some contingencies out there. Make sure these things are taken care of. You scared somebody can burn the place down so the government can build it back because they ain't doing whatever they're supposed to do. You put some cameras out there. Make sure that cameras are always on, always being able to be looked at, and ensure that everything is done. If you see anything suspicious, if anything happened like that, and then you don't be able to pay them. In fact, you sue these people. This is easy business, guys. This isn't difficult stuff. I'm looking at this, and the government of the Bahamas has to continue to be able to carry the burden of lack of preparation, of lack of a contingency. And so if they're paying for lack of a contingency, why doesn't the government just assist you with being able to get that? I don't care how much you cry that your building burned down. The government of the Bahamas could pull the building back up. Do you have what it takes to be able to ensure that you could stock it out and serve again? Simple. 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 To summarize this conversation, guys, at the top of the hour, I just want to be able to let you guys know that we need to see more from you. Members of Parliament need to be more proactive. They need to be able to pronounce, articulate, project a strong vision for the constituencies of how these particular things should go. The government of the Bahamas should be able to consider contingencies. There should be 3 things that we're breaking down to identify how we move forward. One of those 3 things should definitely be in the constituency that you live in, that you have boom, boom. You got to have fire trucks. You got to have lit light poles. How is it on the road from from Seagrape to West End, you still have poor lighting? How is it that in 2026 that you still have poor lighting from Marsh Harbor to Crown Haven? How is it that in Eleuthera, on Queens Highway or Kings Highway, I don't know how you're calling it now, that you have issues with lighting? How is it that the government of the Bahamas has put $180 million, $160 million, $60 million, $20 million in road infrastructure, development, paving, so forth and so on, and none of this includes an additional $2-3 million to ensure that there is proper lighting placed in this particular space. And the lighting could be solar lighting. These things can be manipulated to ensure that you have what it takes. You could actually manufacture what you need. You could call off to China, this is what we need, this is what we need to be able to duplicate, this is the light, these are these particular things. These are not difficult things, but it takes a thinker to be able to move forward in these particular capacities. And the question is, do we have thinkers? Do we have people that with passion, with determination, with focus, with drive, with gusto, with moxie, to see this Bahama land in a better space? I encourage you guys to be able to make some things happen. We're going to take this quick commercial break. When we get back, we can dive a little deeper with what's in the news. All right? Be right back after this.
Taking Bahamian music to the world.
This DJ
Sampler. Hit that subscribe button like a goatskin drum.
Hello, Ricky, it's Johnny Gate. It's Johnny Gate, man. Listen, don't believe they're trying to keep us locked down. They want us to go inside the kill man, so just break it straight, man. That's sweet music. You know why they go there. You know when they go there, it's kill man. Watch this. When the music plays, I'm the first one to dance. Sexy gal gon' whine on me while my rum in my hand. Reggae spread so sweet, don't think you understand. I go in to mash up the place every time I go by the farm. I always get catch, drinking till I lose and I wet. Nobody gon' watch me. bass sampler, bust it, mothers.
The Bahamian music ambassador, DJ Sampler.
Yo, bust it, bass sampler, bust it, mothers.
It's 3 a.m. and I'm waiting for the sun. Lost track of the days, man. Lucky this ain't no fun. Cell phone in my left hand, the days, man. Lucky this ain't no fun. Cell phone in my left hand, TV on my right. My mouth at you.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, hump day. Guys, I'm grateful to be here with you as we continue to be able to jam and have good conversations about where we are as a people, as a nation, and being able to make some things happen. I continue to be able to give you my impassioned position, and I'm hoping that that you accept me for who I am, yeah? Flaws and all, imperfections, and this sort of indifference to the traditions that haven't fed us for a very long time. I care less about these things. I really don't. I do not care about being able to ensure that I travel the line of tradition and social protocols or social norms. I really don't care. That doesn't do anything for me. That you see me in the light of these men. I don't care about that. I just don't. It sounds bad. You may feel indifferent about it, but I do not care. I do not care. And I'm not trying to impress these fellas that they could be able to say, well, that boy Howard, woo, Jesus. You should definitely get, that's not, now if that happens, praise Jesus. But it's not going to happen because I design my lips in a manner where I can be able to have it protrude to kiss your culo. The devil is a liar. I tell you often on this particular space that I don't like man. And you take that, you know, maybe you take it as this sort of a flippant social colloquial terminology to be able to say that you're indifferent. No, I'm not going to kiss your culo. I'm not going to do it. Now, there are some men that I have the utmost respect for. Some older men who have traveled this line of this radical line of empowerment in this country. This radical line of indifference. They have traveled with a dream for a long time. And they've gone through hell. And they have been identified from one place to another as this, that, or whatever. Yeah, man. I respect these men so highly. I respect them, boy. I respect them. I have the utmost respect for them. I'll kiss a little, just a little pinch. Just, as I like these men. Like Joseph, they carried a dream in their bosoms for a long time. And even if they tried to be able to whisper it to their brothers and sisters in our society, they were rejected. It was like a deflection. It was this sort of a thing where, you know, forget about it. Yeah. But they kept on. That is from the religious sector. That is from a governmental sector, from a political sector, social, economic, entrepreneurial, spiritual. That is artistic. I love, it doesn't matter which division you're from in our society. If I recognize that you have a dream, not necessarily the desire to be able to fall in line with the social norms that exist or that have existed, if I recognize that you have a dream that is a little bit off, I have an admiration for you. Yeah, this is not just irreverence. This is not the perpetuation and glorification of things that are indifferent. This is the identity, the identification of conviction. This is what this is for me. If you're convicted, if you're moving with purpose, if you're moving with passion, if you move with determination, I have admiration for you. Yeah. I admired Hubert Ingram at one point. But any of us who sit in a particular capacity for too long, we become gods unto ourselves. Yeah. I admired Hubert Ingram. I can be honest with you. I really did. I admired Perry Christie, same way. I have admiration for him. And I still do. Despite his indifference, despite his successes or lack thereof, and how socially persons would say, I have admiration for him and the greatest degree of respect. And not because you hear me say these things that are, laid out for historic evidence, for historic consumption. Not because you see me say some things that you're uncomfortable with. I don't hate you because I say some things that you would have done that's sort of taboo or gone against the grain of what social expectations was. I don't hate you because of that. I don't. And don't fight me because I say something that is, I don't hate you. I don't. I gotta shoot straight with you. I gotta let you know. We gotta talk like this. I have admiration for men and women who take up the challenge. They take up their cross every day. I had the greatest degree of admiration for the fella Rigby. I'm sorry, Renard Henfield. Not Rigby. The greatest degree of admiration for him. And he took a contrary course. Not from his convictions, from what our expectations was based upon how he geared us up to do these things. How he geared us up. I had admiration for him. I had admiration for great men and women within the Free National Movement. And then I realized that some of these men don't have the convictions that they taught, because they ain't saying nothing when they see the country going to hell in a handbasket under former leadership. They ain't saying nothing now when they see the organization taking a turn contrary to the tenets and the convictions of the spirit of liberty that exists in the organizations. And so you hear me say of empowerment, of opportunity, of being able to touch people. I have admiration for a man who understands that his name has changed in society. And unlike how they called some other people sucker and thief and this and that, our Prime Minister's name has shifted to be able to align with the convictions that continue to be able to belly and billow out of the confines of what his sort of a nickname is. Brave. And to do everything that he can do to be able to get that done. I admire that man. I admire that he's not taking on the language of a bull skater. Can I say that to you? Can I say that our Prime Minister has not taken on the language of a bull skater? Hopefully I'm not pixelated or anything like that, because I don't know how to fix that if I am. And hopefully I'm not. And so that's just where we are as we continue to be able to identify these things and talk the way that we're talking, to find out where we are and to talk about these things. I just want to be able to be clear with you and just let you know. I have admiration for some of these men in service in our country. I do. But some of them I don't want nothing to do with, and Jesus could tell you that. They come around me, I say to them, yeah, man, what's up, man? Everything good? Good to see you, man. Okay, man. That's it. Howard, when you gonna let me come on your show? All right, man. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care how you view me. You think you're just supposed to talk. You go find somebody else to talk with. I could give you some suggestions. Some people who I know, they just take any and everybody at any time. You go talk to them. They've been desperate to talk to people. You go talk to them. They won't bullskate you an hour or two anytime they get a chance, especially if you bring a couple dollars. You go talk to them. Fellas ask me, how would you come sit on, let me come sit on your show? And do what? And do what? We won't talk. Talk about what? Talk about what? Yeah, but how would you listen, bro. Listen, bro. I don't do that type of show. Listen, dog. I don't do that type of show. I'm not out here sitting down talking about niggas. I don't like man. And I don't mean to be derogatory with you, but this is how I respond to these people. I'm not out here talking about who do this and who do that, and I ain't into that. I never hear you cast a vision for the country yet. I never hear you articulate a concept and an idea of where our country could go if we would have done this, this, and this, if we do this, this, and this. All you do is relentlessly give me a contrast between the F&M and the PLP and who is thief and who ain't this and who ain't that, and there's corruption. I don't have time for that. I'm hoping that I'm not pixelated, guys. I'm looking at me on this thing to see if I'm pixelated. I'm looking at... I'm hoping that I'm not. I see this thing look like it's stopping and starting and stopping and starting. We're going to have to fix that. I can tell the fella to come and fix that for me. We got to fix this, man. Let me sit in this capacity and me looking up at the... I don't have time for all that, man. I don't. We got a country to build. We got things to do. Y'all got man to give adoration to and relentless kisses upon their neck and the back of their heels. I prefer not to be able to join that particular fray with you. I don't. That's just not me. That's not me. Yeah, how would you get paid? Listen, bro. If that's how I got to get paid, you could keep that. I must be out here lying for people who lousy. The devil is a liar. I don't have time for that. Let's read a little bit about this before we get out of here and find out exactly what's what. Some of the PLP supporters have a message for the Prime Minister, Philip Reed Davis. Don't call an early election. This is in the Tribune today, guys. The Tribune, Wednesday, the 14th of January, 2026. Wednesday, senior PLP supporters have a message for the Prime Minister, Brave Davis. Don't call an early election. Any speculation about the early election time growing, as speculation about election time grows, several party stalwarts say that Davis administration should resist the temptation to go to early election, warning that rushing to the polls could undercut unfinished work and repeat political miscalculation voters have not forgotten. Let's read it again. As speculation about about election time grows, several party stalwarts say that the Davis administration should resist the temptation to go early, warning that rushing to the polls could undercut unfinished work and repeat political miscalculation voters have not forgotten. If they haven't forgotten it, whether you go to an early one or a late one, and they got the switch ready, okay, let's be decent. The debate comes as the government has tabled a new Boundaries Commission report. Both major parties have moved to ratify. Candidates and opposition continues to predict an early election. The Tribune canvassed views at the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters during Monday's major majority rules ceremony, where supporters spoke candidly about timing, confidence, and caution. Laverne Henfield, a PLP stalwart counselor from Centerville, said that the party should allow the term to run its course. I think that it should wait until our time is right. This is what she said. September will make us 5 years. We still have some more work to do. Others echo the sentiments, arguing that the political momentum can be misleading. Chantal Brown, another long-term supporter, said that the appearances should not dictate strategy. Go straight through. This is what she said. Looks could be deceiving. Ms. Smith, a party stalwart counselor from Marathon, said that she does not believe that the country necessarily needs to wait until September. An election before May would be premature. Why an early election? This is what she said. We need to let it run. We need to continue to complete things and that we've started. Her caution reflects lingering memories of the last early election call, when the previous administration sought a fresh mandate and was decisively rejected by the voters. A reminder that some supporters say that the timing can be as important as performance. Not all parties voice expressed concern about when the election is being held. Sherry Bowe, a PLP supporter from Freetown, said that she would be ready whenever the bell is rung. Cernardo Hart, of PLP's protocol chairman, said that going an early election could deprive the public of a full understanding of what the government has been trying to achieve. Don't call it early, is what he said. This is Cernardo. He said, wait until September because it's been because that's his time, and so people could know what's really going on. He's a winner, not a loser, so we wait until we get to the finish line. We don't stop mid-between. Tribune, you could have done better by being able to diversify your questions. It cannot only be through the conversation of a political organization. Socially, you could have gone to Fish Fry that same day. You could have gone under the dock. You could have gone anywhere else to be able to capture some information and just ask questions as to what do you think about an early election? That's it. That's it. You could have gone anywhere and captured this information. You could have gone on Sanders Beach in the front of Kentucky or in front of Burger King or walk right on the beach and say, hi, I got a couple questions for you. There's no cameras. I just want to know, what are your thoughts? Bang. This isn't diversity. This is coming out of the belly of the PLP protocol officers, stalwart council members, so forth and so on. We don't expect them to be able to give us a good contrast as to what the expectations are from the country. We don't expect that. We don't expect that. And so let's read this. It says, Katie Sanders, PLP branch chairman for Bimini, said that she would support whatever decision the Prime Minister makes, adding that grassroots campaigning has never slowed, and expressing confidence that the party would retain the seat. This is Bimini, right? And she goes on, in my opinion is the Prime Minister has the information that we don't. So whatever his decision, I believe that is the best decision. He's the leader, and whatever he does, he'll go along with it. Whatever we does, he'll go along with it. I think it's supposed to be back the next way around. And so it says senior Free National Movement members of Parliament, senior Free National Movement figures have continued to predict an early election. Opposition leaders say that they expect the 2026 general election to be held in the first quarter of the year and urge voters to register the transfer promptly. This is former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham last year predicted an early election vote if the PLP won the Golden Isles election. By March, you'll be in the polls. This is what he says. All right, let's get into a little bit taste of politics. It's 1:30. When I sat on Shanique's show, we had a conversation about this sort of an idea. Garth and I, we had this conversation about this idea that existed out there that says, what the possibilities of an early election would do to a political organization. Now, we had this conversation. And let's be clear about something. The PLP don't need 190,000 people to vote for them to be able to become victorious. They don't. Let's divide it. Okay? Let's look at the most recently I just get a text and say, good volume, Howard, good. Okay, I'm not gonna fight you. All right, so let's look at the recent boundaries report, okay? It's just simple. Let's just go through it and let's make a determination as to where we are, right? The most recent boundary report. Boundaries Commission Report 2025, December 5th, I think is when it came out, all right? Sometime in December. Let's look at it. All right, so Boundaries Commission Report, I have it open now. And we're going to read just a little taste so we could be able to all be on one page. Dated December 29th, 2025, Boundary Commission Report. It gave us the overview. It talked to us about all these particular things. We're going to swing down to the very bottom to identify the annexed division and to look at the breakdown of the numbers from these particular constituencies, all right? Now, there is a number that they've identified. They say that this is how many registered voters are in the country totally, okay? Registered voters in the country totally at this current position right now. 195,000. 194,526, 194,526 194,526. All right? Let's just do some regular math, right? 194,526. Let's bust that. We can divide that. We can divide it in 4. 48,631.5. That's divided in 4. Divided in 4. The reason we divide it in 4 because we give the PLP its portion. We give the F&M its portion, 48,631.5 F&M. We give the undecideds their portion. Let's be very clear about this. The undecideds will not, this represents 25%. This represents 25%. So 48,631.5 represents 25%. 48,635 times 2, 48,631.5, I'm sorry, multiplied by 2 is 97,000. 97,263. That represents 50% of the voters in this country. Let's be clear about this. Historically, we've identified that 10%, that 20% of the people ain't gonna vote. Historically. We recognize that about 20% of the people will not vote. Let's just do that, okay? So we take the 48,631.5 and we divide that in 2. 24,315. 24,315.5. Let's give them 316. 24,316 people will not vote. Point blank. Hold on now. We're getting somewhere. These people will not vote. Political organizations in the past have always third forces, those political organizations, the third forces, they found themselves in this position where they've been able to capture 10% of the votes. We give them an average of 10%. Sometimes they go 8, sometimes they go 7, sometimes it goes up to 10%. We're going to give them the average, which is 10%. Sometimes they go up to, 13%, right? Today we're going to give them the average, we're going to give them 10%. 10%. 10% of 194,000, we can give them 19,452.6. That's how much we can give them. 19,400,526, right? That's what we can do. 19,000. 19,000. This is what we can do. And let's add this number up. Now we're getting somewhere, guys. Don't fight me. Howard, what you talking about? Let's just be decent. We got time. We're on the show. We can take our time. If you all want to call, we could be able to do this. Give me a call, 827-0111. I'm here. I can put the thing to the microphone. We could be able to take it from there. That wouldn't be a problem at all. Okay? 21,000. We've identified that. Okay? We've identified that 25% represents 48,631.5 for the F&M, plus 48,631.5 for the PLP. That's 97,000, plus 19,452.6 for the PLP, plus another 20% that we say that will not vote. I think it will be higher than that. Altogether, for everything that we've added up, is 116,715.6. We minus that from the 194,526 people. 77,810 people unaccounted for, hypothetically. If we go with the lowest amount of turnout, if we go with the lowest voter turnout, the PLP do not need 100% of the people to win this vote. You know what they need? All they need is their 25% plus another 10%. They could just capture another 10% from somewhere. The 25% and another 10%, they could win this general election if there's low voter turnout, if 70,000 people don't vote. There's no need to have this kind of a conversation that people continue to be able to rag on and drag out and talk about these things and wait for an early election and you don't know this and you don't know that. The PLPs are going to vote PLP. It's point blank. Now, the only variable that exists in this particular space is you don't know if the F&M has what it takes to be able to rally up these people after you ring the bell. That's it. That's the only thing that you're dealing with right now. You don't know if they have this kind of a magic Acme bag that they could push their hand in and be able to pull out enthusiasm, right? Enthusiasm normally go with money, right? So you don't know whether or not there are the old guard, the oligarchs, the white knights, and those particular persons that are putting funds aside for the Free National Movement. You don't know whether or not they're stalling until the PLP rings the bell. You don't know that. And that's the only reason I'll tell you that's not just take your time. You don't know whether or not your kind of a overzealous, egotistical position and this assured space that you have to say that, oh, hell yeah, man, we can win this next general election, man. What? The FNM ain't saying nothing. You don't know whether or not after you ring this bell, instantaneously, BAM! The PLP find themselves, the FNM find themselves in a advantageous position. Money started flowing to the party. Marketing is strong. Their tools, their concepts, their ideas, their campaign is strong. They have this kind of a uniformity. Everybody look good. There's movement in the organization. FNM headquarters are opening up. Everyone's ratified. There is this sense of calm that exists throughout the body of the organization, that people are now being able to be enthusiastic with supporting the organization. You don't know what the FNM has. That's the only reason I'll tell you calm down. That's the only reason I'll tell you calm down. But if we start to have a deep conversation, the fact of the matter is that you do need a mandate. If we start to look throughout the course of the Caribbean, throughout the length and breadth of the body of the Caribbean, you'd recognize and realize the importance of being able to undergird yourself and the sovereignty that who we are as a nation with a mandate freshed by the Bahamian people. You'd understand the importance of that as President Maduro continues to be able to shuffle through the American legal system to find himself liberated, as he continues to be able to go on trial by these particular persons who would have captured him, out of to stand trial and answer for these particular things, he and his wife. It only awakens the Caribbean to a very clear understanding of a mandate. As we continue to be able to go to the fact that if we want to be able to get more monies to execute these projects that the government of the Bahamas has, to be able to finish with the building and the infrastructural development of these things, you need a new mandate. If you want to be able to ensure that every investor who's coming in and recognizing that this year is an election year and it doesn't make sense to be able to do business with this particular organization if they're not going to be able to return, but they have ambitions and we'd love to be able to work with them, you need a new mandate. Hey, listen, we have $1.2 billion to be able to do with the development of hotels in this island, this island, this island. If you give us an opportunity, we can do those things. But we want to be able to ensure that there's not a stop, review, and cancel. And the only way that we can do that is to ensure that we settle with you. And being able to do that is probably we'll wait until after the general election to be able to sign this thing off. You need a new mandate. You need a new mandate. You need a new mandate from a business perspective. You need a new mandate from a lending perspective. You need a new mandate as it relates for the development of infrastructure. You need a new mandate as it relates for the influence of the fortification or the undergirding of our sovereignty, even from the eyes of those that are looking on from the outside, looking in. You need a new mandate. You need a new mandate. The PLP cannot go forward without a new mandate. The PLP does not necessarily have the finances. They have just enough to be able to take them through to the next budget cycle. If we would have looked at it in the last budget cycle and been able to do the analysis and break those particular things down, there should be sufficient funds in there to be able to find them moving to our next general election. But they need a new mandate. All eyes are on the PLP to make this decision and present themselves prepared. A new mandate. We need a new mandate. That the Bahamian people are behind you, and you carry the sovereignty of our nation on your back. And there's an expectation that we perform, that you perform, because we have given you and empowered you with that position. You need a new mandate from the Bahamian people. You do. You do. And I'm not one of these people that says, go till September, wait till September. What the hell are you waiting for? What you waiting for? It was the PLP who came up with this concept that in May, we go to general election. The PLP, looking at historic arms and these particular things, they will always try to be able to align with the May date, to keep that in there. That's not enshrined in law, but this is something that we knew that existed in the organization. May 10th. May 10th is what our expectations were. You need a new mandate. And I don't know what you're waiting on. Listen to me. Nothing worse than waiting. Especially when you know you're getting cut behind. Nothing worse than waiting. I remember my daddy called me. I get home from school. My daddy called me. I'm cutting you behind today because whatever. When I get home, I'm going to cut you, tear your behind up. I got to figure out, how do I prepare for this now? I got too much information. I put in all kind of cardboard in my pants. I trying to be able to see if I could put on 2 pants, maybe put on 2 jockeys with this. It's too much. It's too much. Come, sir, give me my cut behind. Let me get this over with and keep moving forward. I don't have this kind of an anticipation. That's too much for me to carry. It's too much of a burden. I got to carry a mental burden and then eventually carry a physical one. The devil is a liar. Give me my physical burden. Let me deal with it mentally and get over it. I don't have the time for all this. You need a new mandate. You need to come to the Bahamian people. You can't make it to September to ensure that these particular things are done. You spend X amount of dollars on 1.4 million breakfasts. You're taking care of people. You're fixing this, that, and the next thing in terms of fish fry. You're helping entrepreneurs. You're doing it. You need a new mandate. You need new money. You need fresh money to be able to come into these particular spaces. You need to be able to take monies to be able to develop with the infrastructural development in these particulars. You need a new mandate from the Bahamian people. You're dealing with more than you think you're dealing with. Stretch it out for who? For what? So 6 people could keep their contract for building sidewalks and cutting grass and doing this and that. This business we dealing with. This government business we dealing with. Don't worry about them little contracts. The minister didn't care about it. He give people contract. They ain't had it for 2 weeks. Some of them ain't so they get paid. And he go on to general. They hate him, you know. Jesus, boy, man, he's trying to get my money and menace. They hate him. But you need a new mandate. You're not going to sit in this particular capacity and have a casual conversation about these things and leave people guessing. No, man. And that's one of the things that you need to do. The government needs to do. The Bahamas needs to be able to have a fixed date for elections. And that's something that you could do in this term. A fixed date for election. May 10th. Bang. every 5 years, after every election cycle, May 10th, and still with extenuating circumstances be able to put a caveat in there that we can ensure that any particular prime minister could always go to a snap election, extenuating circumstances, so forth and so on. But it will be identified that May 10th is that time that we go to a general election. And let the country always be prepared for that. Yeah, before you go to your next budget, before you prepare for your next budget or your last budget, you go to election. Go to election. And that's what I think. I don't think it should be in this kind of a capacity where we continue to have this kind of this conversation about who's going to do what and what's going to happen and all that. No. No, that ain't necessary. In my view, humbly, my brother, in my view, it ain't gonna make a difference. If the people got cut behind for you, all you doing is causing yourself mental fatigue for the cut behind that's inevitable. Now, humbly, I don't believe that that's what the case is. Now, in due time, in due season, let's be clear. I believe that you're going to have some casualties of war in the PLP. But for the most part, I don't see that there is such a gulf that is between the rich man and the poor man. Remember that gulf? That you could never reach the other side. I don't see that there is a gulf between you and victory. That the FNM has been able to stretch a gulf between you and victory. I don't see that. That's just Howard Grant. I don't see that this proverbial gulf is existing in this particular space. You understand? I looked at some people. You're going to lose some people now. You're going to lose some fellas. You're going to lose some fellas. Okay? But for the most part, I believe that you're going to retain a great deal of your seats. I believe that there will be, for the first time in a long time, diversity in the House of Parliament. When I say diversity, is that you have a contrast between a healthy opposition and a healthy government in the House of Assembly that'll put you on your toes. I believe that will happen, but I believe that you will scale out maybe 6 seats ahead. I believe that. Maybe a little bit more. But 42, 41 divided by 2 is 21 and a half, 20 and a half. So, what does that mean? Somebody can get anywhere between 12 and 14 seats. Let's call it 14. Let's call it 14 seats. All right? 14 seats. 14, 10 is 24. 10 is 34. So that's 26, 27. (14 to 27). If it ain't 14 to 27, I believe that it'll be 16 to 25. That's what I believe. I want you to see that my decency is rich and intact, and I ain't put who is who. But I believe if the PLP can scale out, this is how it's going to look. And guess what? If it don't look like this for the PLP, it can look like this for the FNM. That's what the victory is going to be. The victory is going to be, in my view, 25 to 16. Whoever is in that victorious capacity, 25 to 16. Now, I could take my time and dissect where I believe that the current government will retain. I could take my time and dissect where I believe that the opposition will retain. I believe that the opposition is going to come strong out of Grand Bahama. Strong. I believe they will. I believe that the opposition believes that they will do well in North Abaco. I don't think that that would be the case. I believe that the opposition will do good in Long Island. Yeah. Even if we give the opposition all of Grand Bahama 5 seats. Give the opposition Sinan 6 seats. Right? Even if we do all of this, you still need 10 seats to pick up. I don't know whether or not the opposition can pick up 10 seats in Nassau. I don't know if they could pick up 10 seats in Nassau. If we give them St. James, okay. If we give them, for the sake of this conversation, we give them St. James, okay. We give them Southern Shores, okay. We give them Yamacraw, okay. Hypothetically, okay. That's 3 seats. You understand? So they get St. Anne's, St. James, Yamacraw, and I don't know if we could give them Carmichael. I just don't know. I don't know if we could give them Carmichael yet. I don't know if we can give them Tall Pines. I don't know if we can give them Garden Hills. I don't know if we can give them Mount Moriah. I don't know. I don't know if we can give the opposition these seats yet. But whatever the case may be, we can work on them. So, a low voter turnout will always bode well for the PLP. I don't know whether or not the PLP should be able to wrap themselves up. You are not the Free National Movement. This is not this kind of, we don't have that social relationship with you, that there is significant disdain and relentless on social media about what the PLP, Jesus Christ, look what the PLP do. We don't have that issue with you. We don't have that issue with you. And so when we start to dissect this, when we start to identify these things, we can look at this, and I believe that the victory, whoever sits in the victor's seat, their victory would be in between 27 and 25 seats. And the opposition would be between 14 and 16 seats. Okay? That's how I see it. Now, when we get to the back, we're going to dive a little deeper into these things. Next time, you can see that 2 o'clock is upon us as we do these things. But I want to thank you guys for being able to tune in with us and have good conversations to talk about where we are in the nation, to talk about how things are going, to talk about where we are, where we see these things, and how we make this determination of how these things are happening in the country. I'm looking, and I believe that it's interesting. It's interesting. For me, it is interesting. All right? Join me again tomorrow, God spare our lives, guys, as we continue to be able to talk about where we are in the country, where we are as a people, and what's going on. I want to talk a little bit more tomorrow about the Bahamian Group in $400 million bid for the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Up front and center is John Boswick, Nicholas Reese, SuperValue founder Rupert Roberts, granddaughter Paige Wong. Yeah. You should sell it, but anyway. I'm into that. I have a view on that. I'll just say it like that. I want to thank you guys so much for being able to tune in with us. We're going to see you tomorrow. God spare our lives right here on The Foundation. See you guys tomorrow.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.